Well, hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I am thrilled to have one of my clients, Michelle, with me today. And I want to just celebrate her because you have been able to enter your novel to an open submission call. You have put into place some really healthy, sustainable creative writing habits, and you are making confident decisions moving forward to become the writer that you're made to be. And your progress as a writer has empowered you in other areas of your life. And honestly, Michelle, it is such a privilege watching you grow in confidence as a writer and just as an overall human. And so I want to just pause and celebrate you.
Thank
First of
you.
all, how does it feel like where you are right now, thinking since we met, how does that feel to see and hear those different things that you've accomplished so far?
Amazing. It really does. Because I was kind of like treading water, trying to find my place. I'm like, what do I
Yeah,
do? I know I want to do this, but I don't know how to get there. And
yeah,
then you helped me get there, and now I'm just going to
Mhm.
keep going, which is amazing. It's
Yeah.
such a great feeling.
Well, I'm applauding you.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well, Michelle, tell us about yourself and what you are writing.
Okay, I'm a writer. I'm a sign language interpreter, a photographer, and a mother of four. I always loved writing. Mostly it was poetry and songs, especially in my college years, because poetry is just the easiest way for me to express my emotions. It
Mhm.
just flows out. There's a local writers group that I've been a part of for over 10 years. And just this month, I get to take over as leader of it. So that's whew, I don't think I'd had the confidence to do that before either. So that's really good. I'm currently working on a YA coming of age novel. And I still do, I'm starting to do because of more self esteem and confidence, starting to submit online articles and essays as we go along because all of it is great writing practice.
That's fabulous. Oh, I'm so thrilled for you.
Me too.
Well, what brought you into this one-on-one coaching with me? Like, what made you say, I've got to start making creative writing a habit? I've got to finish this book. What kind of challenges were coming up for you before you started working together?
Well, last fall, I went to a writers' conference, Karen Kingsbury, the Christian author, and it was 3 intense days. And then that was the open submission. Like we had a deadline, and I'm like, I really want to meet this deadline and do it well. But I knew myself enough that I needed the guidance, I needed the accountability, and the encouragement to finish well and on time.
Mhm.
Um, I had a hard time stepping out in faith and taking the risk of committing to being a writer because my family totally accepted me growing up and I'm still accepted and loved by my family, but they never encouraged me in writing.
Mhm.
And so it was kind of like, yeah, I didn't get a lot of encouragement in that. So it was hard to keep going in something I wasn't encouraged in. But then I was like, I need to get this done. And so then I started looking like I really need to invest. And sometimes you can be scared to invest because you're like, it's a lot of money. Is it really going to be worth it? But I researched different coaches, came upon you, and happenstance, we were both in a virtual writers like workshop a couple of years ago when COVID hit. And so yeah, I was like, I knew I needed the help. I searched around for a couple different places, found you. We had an initial interview before we decided yes or no. And we were just a really good fit. And I'm like, this is good stuff. Yeah. And you said, hey, 3 months. I'll give you 3 months and we'll see where we go from there. So it didn't even have to be like, you have to commit a whole year to this or I can't help you. It was 3 months and let's see where we go. And oh man, has it been an amazing 3 months
Yeah. Oh my
for
gosh,
sure.
it really has been. And
Yeah.
that's it's so neat to in that short space of time actually see so much fruit and how you've really invested your time, and you still have challenges, but you've got tools and you're taking steps with that confidence to overcome them. And so how has having support actually factored into your growth and confidence as a writer?
Like I've told you before, honest accountability and encouragement is what I need. Some people need different things, but that was a great thing too. You and I just sat down and you said, hey, what do you need from me? How do you accept feedback? What kind of feedback do you want? How can I best support you? And that's great, because if you can't have a one size fits all. That doesn't work. Everybody responds differently. So that was really great. The feedback and the motivation was huge for me, because if I don't know where to take a step, what do I do to take the next step, or how do I tweak this? And you have experience. You're in the real world doing it and teaching it at the same time, and seeing you take steps of faith is, oh, I can do it too because she did. Yes. So it's good. And like, especially our one-on-one calls once a month, for get that hour time with you is priceless, because I'll just like, you'll ask a question or two, and I will have submitted something for you to read ahead of time. And you're like, oh, so what about this? Or this is what I'm hearing you say. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Molly. Dang it. But it's so good because I can take that in and make those changes on my own. Now, you're not responsible for me to make the change and to do the work, but your responsibility is to provide me with the guidance and provide me with the information. And what I love too, like if I can do the question, then you're like, you know what? I will get back to you on that, because you may know some about it, but maybe you don't know all. So you'll go and research my question and then come back to me with an in-depth answer in an email so I can print it and refer back to it. Huge. That's so big for me. It's wonderful. It is really like my self-confidence was pretty low, and I've been working that in general, but my self-confidence as a writer was pretty low, not really having the support I felt I needed. But you just, bam, you're great. You're awesome. Boom. You can do this. Psh, you got this. You got it, Shell. Go, go. And it's just having a cheerleader who is a fellow writer and is ahead of me in the process. It's huge. So good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, it's been beautiful watching you take feedback on board, and you're hungry to be the writer that you're made to be. And that's so much fun to get to work with you, because you're so responsive and you really want to do this.
Yes,
and you
I
are
do.
doing it.
Yes, I am. It's great.
What's one lesson that you would want everyone who wants to take the next leap in their writing life and author career? Like, what's one lesson that you would really want them to know?
Well, for me, I have to write. It's like a burning desire inside me, Molly. I just can't not write. And I didn't want to just keep it to myself. I wanted to share it. So if you're someone watching this and you want to be a better writer, a great coach that you mesh with is such a critical investment. At first, I'm like, no, I got all these free webinars online. I've got all these free classes. It's totally fine. I can do all this by myself. But having a one-on-one for a solid chunk of time, someone who's already been there and done that, it's so huge. And even if we just do 3 months and then I say, see you later, Molly, we're still going to keep in touch. And this is going to be a huge part. And maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll take another class with you. Maybe we'll do another 3 months later on. But this 3 months has just been a huge springboard to help me meet my goals. And it is so, if you want to deepen yourself and better yourself as a writer, a writing coach that works for you and works with you isn't just in it for the money, but actually cares like you do, Molly, priceless. I mean, it really is totally worth it.
What would you say has been one of the keys to really becoming the writer you're made to be and moving from writer to author?
Mindset. Mindset is so big. Investing funds into getting a writing coach, that holds me accountable. Making time in my calendar to write, like actually blocking out the time and nothing else is happening but that in my room with the doors closed. So it's intentional, it's getting done. That's huge, and learning from you. Well, again, you've had more experience than me. Doesn't mean that I have to follow your path, but you've been there and you have that understanding. So you can then teach me and I can apply that to my path and where I'm going. And fear and doubt, they're still there.
Mhm.
I got a writing coach. I've made great progress. You've helped me a ton. I'm like, oh, then it should be easy. No. Fear and doubt are still there, but I can see, okay, you're there, but I'm still going to go through. I'm still going to take the next step because I know I can. And I now have the confidence to do the next thing and to make the next move. Thanks to you.
That's awesome. And to
Yeah.
see that you are using the tools that you've learned to overcome the obstacles, to say, you know what, fear and doubt, I see you, and I'm choosing to not follow you. I'm choosing to believe who I'm made to be is true.
Yep.
And I'm going to follow that.
Faith over fear every time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't applying it.
Oh, good.
But then having you and the support and the encouragement and actually knowing what direction to go to and how to do that. And like we talked earlier too, it's been a lot of internal work. It was like, you've been with a writing coach for 3 months. Where's all the stuff you've produced? Where is all this? But a lot of it was just building the foundation inside me so I could produce it.
Yep.
So it could come out confidently. Not perfectly. No, that's not a thing, which perfectionism is a fear and a doubt that hold me back a lot. Yep. But I've been able to just face it and say, you know what? You're not as big as I thought you were. And it's okay.
And one of the things that is so common with many, many writers is that fear of not being perfect. And that prevents all of us, like even me, if we listen to that, from getting any words out. But I have to choose that I'm going to just get the words out so I have something to work with so that I can hone it and craft it and grow. And that is what you've been doing. You've been willing to get the imperfect words on the page so you can actually learn and grow and apply what you've learned and grow in confidence. And you're doing that.
Yeah, because with the perfectionism, you could just, like you said, not even make anything. You could just, well, this isn't good enough. I could never actually post this.
Yep.
Well, but if you never post it, you don't get in the process. You don't get used to writing one day, editing the next night, and then posting it the next day and just getting it out there.
Yeah.
Because they can still touch people imperfectly.
Absolutely.
And it's worth it. It's worth it.
That's awesome. So, Michelle, what would you say to someone who is on the fence, considering getting support from me to get their words out from brain to page?
I'll say it again. Investing in yourself is not selfish. Because if you invest in yourself and take care of you, you can better take care of others. And if you have a desire and a need to write, Molly's your gal. Molly is totally your gal. If you want to impact people with your words, I mean, whether you want to put it out there for the whole world or you want to write something for your family, or you just need to write this for you and get it out like, regardless of how you want to do your writing, it will be made better through Molly. I'm testament to that. I'm proof. It does work, and she works so well with you. It's great. Yeah.
Oh. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's not fluff.
Virtual hugs. I appreciate that. And the reason that it works is because you have shown up for yourself.
Right.
And so I'm able to support you because you're already doing it. And so I'm helping you get there, helping you remember why you wanted to do this in the first place on those low, icky, bad days, which happen to all of us. And I get to hold a mirror up to you and remind you who you really are as a writer, remind you why this was important to you, and just dust you off and get you back on the path. And you're willing to keep going. It's so fun. It's so fun.
It really is. When you can work together, it's very fun.
Yeah. So you've kind of alluded to a few different aspects of this, but I want to ask the straightforward question here of, so what's it actually like to work with Molly Ovenden as your creative writing coach?
Should I be honest or should I be honest? No, just joking. I'm
Always
sorry.
honest.
Yeah, I know. That's just okay. Anyway, you had to be there. Uh, Wonderful. Uh, Molly actually, I'm going to talk about like she's not here. Molly actually wants to see you succeed as a writer. I mean, I've checked other writers out before I took her as a coach. Some of them are like, bam, 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 bam in your face. That doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. Some of them just want the money. And some of them, just their own selfish reasons. I'm testament proof to say that Molly actually wants you to succeed. She actually cares about you as a writer. If you are taking the time to invest in getting her as a coach, she will more than like 10 times more invest back in you as a writer. She's kind, funny, and caring. And that big smile you see, it's real and it's great because it's huge. It's so wonderful. She will ask point blank questions, just like, hey, da da da. And I'm like, okay, yeah, yep, yep, I can work on that. I can do that. But she says it in kindness. She's not mean about it. And I told her in our initial meeting, I want point blank answers. I want honesty and kindness. And she does that because that's my best way to be receptive. Every week, she sends me an accountability form, say in there, encouragement, you got this, you're an amazing writer. And she means that. And then like you get to fill out a form and you get to say, hey, this is what my goals were last week. Did I meet them? Yes or no? What are my goals going to be the next week? And then you can have up to 1,000 words critiqued by her. And again, what feedback do you want? Do you want grammar? Do you want feelings? Do you want structure? Do you want form? What kind of feedback do you need from me with this work of 1,000 words? Wonderful. One-on-one meetings once a month. You get to have an hour of just one-on-one online, and it's great. And another thing about being online, I love, Molly, having the meetings with you online because we're in 2 different states. And so I can go on to your calendar and see when you're available. I can see my calendar when I'm available. I click done and I say, hey, this is what I want to work on or talk about in our one-on-one. And it's so great because then that's exactly what we talk about. Yeah. And sometimes we go off, but sometimes you kind of got to go off because that's really what you need to talk about in that moment. Mm-hmm. It's like you can't go back to it. You can, but it's really great. You just kind of feel it out with the structure I give you. This is what I want to talk about. And then you go with that. And it's so great. And then after the meetings, you always have like a synopsis of notes. That's huge because I always take notes during a meeting, but sometimes I get into it and I know that, about 24 hours later at most, here comes the summary of the meeting from Molly, and you might have caught something I didn't or a different perspective, and I can keep learning even after the meeting's done. Yeah, and just to have you as a writing coach, you're knowledgeable, you're experienced, you're highly invested, and you're a humble sage, if I may say so. And you're a great cheerleader that helps me be a better, not just a better writer, but even just a better version of myself. And I love that. And that alone is priceless.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for the honor of getting to work with you and to get to cheerlead you and encourage you and ask you the hard questions. And it's just a delight. And I love the tremendous amount of groundwork growth that we have done together, but that you have done. And it's awesome. Like you said, it's a springboard. Where are we springboarding into this next season? And I'm excited to keep celebrating with you, Michelle. So thanks so much for your time chatting with me today. And I look forward to reading what you come up with next.
You will.
All right. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Yep. Bye.